Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, right. Take down this example. A potential field is given as V is equal to 100 into e raised to minus 5x sine 3y cos 4z volts. Let point P of 0.1 comma pi by 12 comma pi by 24 be located at a conductor free space boundary. At point P, find the magnitudes of V, E bar, ET, En, D bar, Dn, and rho s. Note down the statement of the problem. Note it down, friends. Did you all note down? Note down only the statement. We'll solve the example.
Noted down, sir.
Okay. Read the question. A potential field is given as V is equal to 100 into e raised to minus 5x sine 3y cos 4z volts. So the potential field is given, V value is given. Let point P, coordinates of point P are given, 0.1 comma pi by 12 comma pi by 24 is located at conductor free space boundary. It is located at the boundary between the conductor and the free space. In the last class we discussed the boundary conditions between conductor and free space, and we derived the equation for the electric field intensity and the electric flux density. At point P, find the magnitudes of. The point P is located at the boundary between free space and the conductor. At this point P, we are supposed to find the magnitude of potential, that is V. Voltage equation is given, but we have to find at the given coordinates, these coordinates x, y, and z values. Okay. Then electric field intensity E bar, tangential component of electric field intensity ET, normal component of electric field intensity En, electric flux density D bar, normal component of electric flux density Dn, and the surface charge density rho s. Okay. Let us do it step by step. At point P, what is the coordinate they are given? X equal to 0.1, y is equal to pi by 12, and z equal to pi by 24. They are given the coordinates of x, y, and z in terms of angle. Okay. So x is 0.1, y is pi by 12, and z is pi by 24. Okay. Then if x, y, and z are given in the equation, also we can look, they are given in terms of x, y, and z, right? Therefore, when x, y, and z are given, then what is the potential V? Substitute the values of x, y, and z in the above equation. It is 100 into e raised to minus pi. X is 0.1. Sine 3y. 3y is 3 into pi by 12. Cos 4z, that is 4 into pi by 24. Okay. And then solve it in the radian mode and check what answer you will get. You have to solve it in radian mode. That means you have to convert this 3 pi by 12 into radian and then 4 pi by 24 into radian. Okay. And then find out. Or else you calculate from radian to angle. Pi radian is 180 degree. Therefore, 3 pi by 12 is how much degree? Pi radian is 180 degree. Therefore, 4 pi by 24 is how much degree? Then take the sine of that, cos of that, then multiply with 100 into e raised to minus 0.5. Convert the angle from radian to degrees and then calculate. So how to calculate the angle value, students? If given is in radian, how to calculate the angle value? Yes.
Sir,
3 pi by,
multiplying with pi by 180.
yes, correct. If you multiply by pi by 180, just check pi by 180 to convert from radian to degrees. Suppose say now 3 pi by 12 is given, is in terms of radians. Pi radian is 180 degree. Therefore 3 pi by 12 multiplied with 180 by pi, not pi by 180. But to multiply it with 180 by pi. Pi radian is 180 degree. Therefore 3 pi by 12 is how much? So multiply with 180 by pi, not with pi by 180. Correct? Pi radian is 180 degrees. Therefore 3 pi by 12 is how much? 3 pi by 12 into 180 by pi. Convert it into angle. Similarly, convert 4 pi by 24 into angle. 3 pi by 12, how much you will get if you convert it into degrees? 3 pi by 12. Multiply with 180 by pi.
45 degree.
Yes, exactly. 45 degrees. Next, similarly calculate cos of 4 pi by 24. 4 pi by 24, you first convert it. Now, first angle is 45 degree. You have to take sine of 45. Next, cos of 4 pi by 24. 4 pi by 24, convert it into degrees. Pi radian is 180 degree. Therefore, 4 pi by 24. Cross multiplication. Cross multiplication. There is some disturbance. Just mute your cell phones, please. How much you got, students? 4 pi by 24 converted into angle. How much you are getting?
30 degrees, sir.
30 degrees. Yes, 30 degrees. Correct. Now calculate the total value. Calculate the total value. That is 100 into e raised to minus 0.5 into sine of 45 cos 30. And tell me how much you will get. 100 into e raised to minus 0.5 sine of 45 cos 30. How much you are getting?
Sir, 37.1196.
Yes, correct. 37.1422, approximately 37. Okay, that is the value of voltage at the given point P. Right? All of you are getting that answer? All of you are getting this answer, 37.1422 volts. Yes. Getting that answer? Any difficulty here in calculation part? Sankalp,
Calculating, sir.
calculating? Okay, calculate. Rutik Chopde, done. Rutik,
Yes, sir.
got the answer, 37.1422 volts.
Yes, sir. Same, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Ankita,
Yes, sir.
got the answer? Got the answer?
Calculating, sir.
Okay, do it. Do a little bit fast. I hope everybody are done with part A. Yes. Shall we move to the part B? Kirti, Rutvik,
Yes, sir. Completed.
completed?
We
Okay.
can go for B.
Yes. Part B, E bar is given by the equation minus delta V. We have derived this equation. Electric field intensity is negative gradient of scalar potential. Very important relation. And accordingly, we can write minus of this delta V will be dou Vx by dou x Ax bar plus dou Vy by dou y Ay bar plus dou Vz by dou z Az bar. Just substitute. It is dou Vx. So it is minus 100, take it outside from this V, 100, just take it outside. So this will be, now take the differentiation with respect to x, this equation, e raised to minus 5x sine 3y cos 4z. What you will get? Sine 3y cos 4z is constant. It will be sine 3y cos 4z Ax bar into differentiation of e raised to minus 5x. E raised to x differentiation is e raised to x, that is e raised to minus 5x. Then minus 5x differentiation is minus 5. Okay, then plus. Similarly, differentiate this equation with respect to y. Okay, that means x and z will be constant. E raised to minus 5x cos 4z will be constant. Differentiation of sine 3y will be cos 3y into 3 cos 3y into ay bar plus. Now differentiate this equation with respect to z. Z means x and y will be constant. E raised to minus 5x sine 3y is constant. Differentiation of cos 4z with respect to z, it is minus 4 sine 4z. Differentiation of cos theta is minus sine theta. It will be minus 4 sine 4z Az bar. Then you all have to substitute the coordinates. X is 0.1, y is pi by 12 and z equal to pi by 24, and calculate how much you will get. Do that quickly, students. Substitute in this equation. Just note down this equation, and in this equation you also have to substitute the value of x as 0.1, y as pi by 12, and z as pi by 24, and tell me what will be the equation in terms of ax bar, ay bar, and az bar. Tell me how much you'll get, students. Value of E bar. Calculate it. Again, you will have to convert sine of 3 into 3 pi by sine into 3 pi by 12. Okay, you already know that value. Cos 4z, 4 into pi by 24. You already know that value. Just you have to substitute. Again, you need not calculate there. You know the value of sine 3y, sine of 3 pi by 12, cos of 4 pi by 12. You have calculated that. First one, ax bar coordinate. Then for y coordinate, cos 3y. That is cos of 3 pi by 12. That you are supposed to calculate. Cos 4z, you already know that. This is for y coordinate. Then z coordinate is sine 3y. That you already know. Sine 4z, sine 4 pi by 24. That you will have to calculate. Okay. Some things you can take from the previous and just substitute. Others, whichever you are not calculated, you have to calculate. What is the answer? Let minus 100 be outside. What is the inner term, inside term? Done that? How much you are getting? Anybody calculated? Sai Prakash?
Calculating.
Calculate it. Shubham?
Yes, sir, calculating.
Shubham. Okay. Be a little bit fast. It requires little practice. Jocelyn? Atia? Calculate, Atia. Your sound is very less, very feeble. Increase the volume. Now you can speak.
Yes, sir.
Atia, now you got the answer, Atia?
Calculating, sir.
Calculate it. Okay. Pallavi?
Yes, sir.
Done with the answer?
Sir, I'm outside, sir. I will work it on home.
Okay, correct. Ilyas Ahmad? Ilyas?
Yes, sir. Calculating, sir.
Calculating, okay. Shweta? Vijay Gunagod? Virpaksh Koda? Virpaksh Gowda? See here, I will repeat it. So this is 100 minus 100, you are keeping it outside, okay? Then this we got it already, we differentiated and we got this equation. Just you have to substitute. What you have substitute? In y you have to substitute pi by 12, z is pi by 24. Just substitute value of y and z and x. X is minus 0.1, sorry 0.1, x is 0.1 plus 0.1. If you substitute this and then simplify, you will get this answer. Just cross verify your answers. E bar is equal to minus 100 into minus 1.857 ax bar plus 1.114 ay bar minus 0.85776 az bar. Then multiply 100 inside, we'll get plus 185 minus into minus plus 185.7 ax bar minus 111.4 ay bar plus 85.776 az bar volt per meter. Okay, that means a value of electric field intensity. If you want to calculate, what you have to do? Magnitude. If you want to calculate, what you have to do? Yes, if you want to calculate the magnitude, what you are supposed to do?
Sir, square root of
Yes.
coefficient of square, sir. Sum of the coefficient
Yes.
3.
Yes, correct. Okay, do that. Note down this E bar value. E bar is plus 185.7 ax bar. You all can cross verify later. Do it for homework. Minus 111.44 ay bar plus 85.776 az bar volt per meter. Then calculate the square root. Square root of 185.7 square plus minus 111.4 square plus 85.776 square. And tell me how much you'll get. Tell me the answer. Magnitude of E bar. Anybody done?
Sir,
You are supposed to,
2.3292.
in terms of
2.3.
No, but is it 10 raised to 2 or 10 raised to 4 or what it is? 10 raised to 2? 2.3292
Yes, sir.
into 10
10
raised to 2. 10 raised to 2, yes. So it
Yes,
is
sir.
correct. 232.9206. If you multiply with 10 raised to 2, it will shift right by 2 decimal places. It will be 232.9206 volt per meter. Okay, that is the value of electric field intensity, right? Once we have calculated electric field intensity, then find the next one, tangential component of electric field intensity. Tangential component of electric field intensity is 0 volt per meter as P is on the boundary. The point P they have given is on the boundary. We know that tangential component, just go back and see the previous derivation what we have done. Here it is, E tan equal to 0 we have got. Tangential component of electric field intensity is 0 for the boundary condition between conductor and dielectric, or between conductor and free space, is it not? Therefore, E tan equal to 0. That is E tangential equal to 0 volt per meter as P is on the boundary. Then normal component. Normal component is nothing but our electric field intensity, because total electric field intensity is tangential component plus normal component. Correct? Try to recollect what we did in the last class. That is, the electric field intensity was resolved into two components. One at the boundary, that is called tangential component. Another one is a perpendicular to the surface, normal to the surface, that is En or E normal. Correct? One is E tan, another one is En. Total electric field intensity is given by En, that is E normal, plus E tangential. But E tangential is 0. Therefore, what will be the normal component? It will be the total electric field intensity. Correct? That is, E bar is equal to En is equal to E bar. En, normal component of electric field intensity, is equal to the total electric field intensity, which is 232.9206 volt per meter. Then find out D bar. D bar is, what is the equation for D bar in terms of E bar? Epsilon into E bar, or epsilon naught into E bar, if it is air medium, right? Therefore, D bar is equal to epsilon naught E bar. Epsilon naught is 8.854 into 10 to minus 12. Multiply it with this E bar equation in terms of AX bar, AY bar, and AZ bar. Tell me how much it will be. This is E bar is 185.7 AX bar minus 111.4 AY bar plus 85.776 AZ bar. Tell me the answer. What will be the D bar in terms of AX bar, AY bar, and AZ bar? It is electric flux density. Flux density, D bar. How much you all got, students? Value of D bar. Tell me in terms of AX bar, AY bar, and AZ bar first. How much you are getting? Tell me quickly. Anybody solved it? Who has got the answer? Please let me know. Adarsh? Adarsh? Janvi? Janvi? Got the
Yes,
answer,
sir.
Janvi? Got the answer, Janvi?
Yes, sir.
Answer. How much did you
Doing,
get?
doing,
Do
sir.
it, do it. Do a little bit fast. Mohammed? Mazhar?
1.6.
Yes, sir.
14
1.588 AX bar value.
No,
yes minus correct minus
0.9.
yes EY component Z component
0.759, sir.
correct very good. Okay, approximately it will slightly vary. So you are right, whatever you are getting 1.588 AX bar minus 0.9529 AY bar plus 0.7337 AZ bar nano coulomb per meter square. So this nano coulomb is important. If you leave this 10 raised to minus 9, your final answer whatever you are getting is wrong. Okay, even though it is correct, if you are leaving this unit nano coulomb 10 raised to minus 9, then your final answer will be wrong. Okay, that's why we have to be careful there. Nano coulomb per meter square. Therefore, d bar will be equal to, find the magnitude of this, square root of 1.588 square plus minus minus 0.9529 square plus 0.7337 square. This comes out to 1.992 and it is nano coulomb per meter square, right? Then find the normal component. Normal component of dn is again it is equal to d bar only, because the tangential component of electric flux density is 0, because En is 0, right? Et is 0, sorry, Et is 0, tangential component of electric flux field intensity is 0, d is equal to epsilon into E. So dt will be epsilon into Et, right? Et is 0, therefore dt will also be equal to 0. That we have done in the last class. Tangential component of, here it is, d tan is equal to 0. Tangential component of electric flux density is 0. Normal component, only normal component exists, and that is equal to total electric flux density, because d bar is dn plus d tangential. D bar is d normal plus d tangential. D normal is, that is d tangential is 0, hence d normal is equal to d bar, that is 1.992 nanocoulomb per meter square. Then last part, how much is surface charge density, rho s? This we have derived in the last class. dn is equal to rho s, that is boundary condition dn at the boundary, derivation that we did in the last class, right? dn is equal to rho s, because electric flux density is equal to surface charge density at the boundary. So dn is equal to rho s, dn is 1.992, so rho s will also be equal to 1.992 nanocoulomb per meter square. Okay, quickly note down this, then 2 minutes we'll continue with the next topic. Note it down, students. I hope you all noted down. Okay, shall we move ahead, students? Rohan, Timsani,
Yes, sir. Writing, sir.
do it fast. Done, students? Sankalp, Sankalp, note it down. Surya Banu.
Yes, sir.
Note it down, Surya Banu.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So please practice such examples. Such examples may be asked in examination, right? Practice them so that your speed of calculation will increase. Okay. It's only by the way of practicing your speed will be increased. Okay. The way you calculate, the way you use the calci, right? The way you substitute, right? It all depends on your practice. Practice more and more such examples so that your speed will be increased. Okay. Next is the boundary conditions between two perfect dielectrics. I'll just give an introduction to this. Here we are considering the boundary between the dielectric and the second dielectric. There are two dielectrics here. In the previous topic that we studied, it was the boundary condition between dielectric and the free space. But here we are studying the boundary condition between dielectric and another dielectric, dielectric 1 and dielectric 2, which are having the permittivity epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. Okay. Then consider the closed path rectangular in shape ABCDA. ABCDA, this is the closed path that we are considering as we did it for the, that is between boundary between dielectric and free space. Correct? That is, sorry, the boundary between conductor and free space or conductor and dielectric. This is ABCDA. This is a closed path ABCDA. Right? Its width is delta W. Its height is delta H. Delta H by 2 lies in the medium 1, that is dielectric medium 1, and delta H by 2, remaining delta H by 2 lies in the second medium, that is in the medium dielectric, which is having dielectric permittivity epsilon 2, right? Then the tangential component in the dielectric medium is, one is E tan 1, the tangential component in the dielectric medium 2 is E tan 2. Okay. We know the Maxwell's equation, that is flux density E bar dot dl bar is equal to 0. Take it as equation 1. This is Maxwell's equation, right? If we take the potential difference of the potential between 2 points, then it is going to be equated to 0. Right? We have discussed about this in our previous class. Then integration A to B, this is integration E bar dot dl bar equal to 0, closed surface integral. This is the surface A to B, E bar dot dl bar, then integral B to C, E bar dot dl bar, integral C to D, E bar dot dl bar, and the integral from D to A, E bar dot dl bar is equal to 0. We know that E1 is equal to E1 tangential plus E1 normal. That is electric field intensity in medium 1. It is resolved into two components. One is the tangential component at the boundary. Another one is the perpendicular to the surface, which is the normal component. So it is E1 can be written as E1T plus E1N. Similarly, for the second medium, which is the dielectric epsilon 2, E2 is E2T plus E2N. That is, E2 is resolved into two components. One is the tangential component, another one is the normal component. Both E1 and E2 in respect to dielectrics have both the components. It is E1 in dielectric medium 1 has both tangential and normal component. E2 in dielectric medium 2 has both, that is both the components, tangential and normal components. Therefore, E1T is taken as E tan 1, E2T is taken as E tan 2, E1N is taken as E1N plus E2N is equal to E2N. We are just writing in terms of E tan 1, E tan 2, E1N and E2N. Now, if you want to analyze the boundary conditions, then we have to take delta H tends to 0, because here we are analyzing at the boundary. When we take delta H tends to 0, that means CD or AB will be lying on the boundary. They will be lying exactly on the boundary when delta H tends to 0. That means this integral B to C, this will become 0, and integral A to D, this will also become 0, because delta H is tending to 0. Okay, we are considering at the boundary condition. Therefore, we have to make delta H tends to 0 so that we can study the conditions at the boundary between the two dielectric medium. So the integral B to C becomes 0, and the integral from D to A, that also becomes 0. Okay. So here we are having at the boundary condition only integral B to C and integral D to A become 0 as delta H tends to 0. Therefore, the above equation, that is here B to C is 0 and A to D is 0. Therefore, we are having only A to B and C to D. Okay. That is A to B E bar dot dl bar plus integral C to D E bar dot dl bar equal to 0. Now A to B is in dielectric 1. The A to B, it is in dielectric 1. Dielectric 1, what is the tangential component? E tan 1. Correct. For dielectric 2, it is E tan 2 in the dielectric medium 2 for C to D. Correct. AB is in dielectric 1. Hence, component of E is E tan 1. That is integral A to B E bar dot dl bar is equal to, instead of E bar, I write it as E tan 1 integral A to B dl bar. This will be E tan 1 dl bar length. Length is this delta W. Let's substitute that. This will be E tan 1 delta W. Similarly, C to D is in dielectric 2. C to D is in dielectric 2. Hence, component of E will be E tan 2. In dielectric 2, it is E tan 2. Right here, it is E tan 2 for the dielectric 2 in the second medium in the region 2. Therefore, its tangential component is E tan 2. Correct. E tan 2 is the tangential component. But A to B is opposite to that of C to D. Everybody agree with me? A to B is opposite to that of C to D. How? Because we are moving in the clockwise direction. A to B, B to C, C to D. A to B is from left to right, C to D is from right to left. Both are opposite. Magnitudes are same. We get same magnitudes, but polarity will be opposite. A to B and C to D have opposite polarities. Hence, I can write E to D is in dielectric 2. Hence, component of E is E tan 2, but CD is opposite to AB. Therefore, it will be integral C to D E bar dot dl bar. It is same we will get, but the polarity will be opposite. And here it will be for second medium E tan 2 delta W with minus sign. That is integral C to D E bar dot dl bar is equal to minus E tan 2 delta W. Now substitute these integrals whatever we have got A to B and C to D. Whatever integrals we have got, substitute in equation number 5 in the main equation. Okay, this equation. Right, that is integral A to B E bar dot dl bar plus integral C to D E bar dot dl bar equal to 0 according to the Maxwell's equation. Now, if we substitute that, what we'll get? A to B E bar dot dl bar is E tan 1 delta W. Then plus integral C to D E bar dot dl bar is minus E tan 2 delta W. Let us write it. That is E tan 1 delta W minus E tan 2 delta W is equal to 0. Delta W is common. It will become 0. Right, therefore we will get E tan 1 is equal to E tan 2. That is delta W, if we take it common outside, it will be delta W into E tan 1 minus E tan 2 is equal to 0. As delta W cannot be 0, therefore E tan 1 is equal to E tan 1 minus E tan 2 is equal to 0, or E tan 1 is equal to E tan 2. Take it as equation 9. Okay, what it indicates here, students, at the boundary, the electric field intensity that is existing is the tangential component, which is equal for both the medium. Tangential component of electric field intensity is equal for both medium 1 and medium 2. Right, that is what the conclusion that we can draw from this equation. It also indicates that the electric field intensity at the boundary is continuous, because E tan 1 is equal to E tan 2. In examination, they may ask in this way also. Prove that the electric field intensity at the boundary between two dielectrics is continuous. Or they may directly ask the question, derive the boundary conditions between two perfect dielectrics. Okay, they may ask in any ways. Okay, that's the same derivation. Up till here you are supposed to do. If they ask derive the, that is prove that the electric field intensity at the boundary between two dielectrics is continuous, then you have to derive up till this step. If they ask the boundary conditions, then you have to do the further derivation also. Okay. So in today's class, students, we have solved an example and we have started with the derivation of the boundary conditions between two perfect dielectrics. Okay. And we have derived up till the step E tan 1 is equal to E tan 2, where the electric field intensity is continuous between the boundary, between two perfect dielectrics. Any difficulty here, students? Any difficulty here? Students, any doubts? Rohan, any doubts? Rohan?
No, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. Pallavi? Pallavi? And then Janvi.
Yes, sir.
Janvi. Any questions,
No, sir.
Janvi? Okay. Adarsh. Adarsh.
No, sir.
Understood the today's derivation example, Adarsh?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay. Deepa Rathod. Deepa Rathod.
Yes, sir.
Understood today's derivation and the example?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay. Okay, students, we'll continue in the next class. We'll complete this derivation. And then next is refraction of d bar at the boundary. So once we are done with that, then we'll start the new topic, that is concept of capacitance. Okay, those things will start in the next class. Thank you.